Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Well, welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a Wednesday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, Taylor Sharp over there on the ones and twos. Glad to be here with you until 2 o'clock. It is going to be a loaded show. Sharief Ishaq on the Saints in 30 minutes. Cody Worsham on the NILSU campaign. They had a huge story and a huge announcement drop over there at LSU. If you're one of those people that says, I don't really care about name, image, and likeness stuff, miss me with it, well, I got you, and I don't really care what guys do either, but it's going to help recruiting if you want good players to show up. I think that's a pretty good thing. So we'll talk to Cody about that at 1 o'clock, and that'll lead perfectly into 1:30 when Mikey Romero, member of LSU's #1 ranked signing class on the baseball field, we'll see what he has to say about it. He's the guy who's going to have draftable opportunities. He's from the state of California, has been committed to Jay Johnson for 4 years, and has a really interesting story. So we'll chat with Mikey about why he decided to come to LSU, what that name, image, and likeness thing means for a baseball recruit coming in, and what he thought of his first trip to Baton Rouge, which is this past weekend. So looking forward to chatting with Mikey at 1:30. But we'll start with Ed Ogeron and what might be his last teleconference appearance, Jeremy. And it sounded like he was a little bit down about it, and you can kind of see it. The sense of finality is kind of sinking in.
Yeah, it is. It's very unfortunate, and obviously how loose he was Monday with this press conference. You can tell this thing is coming to an abrupt end, and it's very unfortunate. You reached the highs of highs that Coach O's reached as a head coach in his tenure at LSU, but not the success we want to have here. So they're moving forward. So I think it's the right time, and it's just sad that things have to end this way.
We'll talk about that'll be the last thing we touch on here in this segment. But there are a little bit of news on the injury front and guys potentially returning to the lineup. We'll start with number 2, Casey. Talked about Sage Ryan at safety.
Sage Ryan back at practice yesterday. Do y'all think you might have him for the game this weekend, or is he still a ways away?
Yeah, I think he may play. I think we need to see how he does during the week. But right now, all indications are that he will play.
They can take anybody they could possibly get back on in the secondary. They're so thin there on numbers, and obviously Sage Ryan hasn't played a ton, but he's a talented guy, and anybody who can come in, maybe if there's an injury, can add a little bit of depth and add a lot of talent. They'll take him. They'll take anybody.
Oh man, talk about depth issues, man. We'll take just about anyone we can get, and I was encouraged by Sage. I know he wasn't really planning on playing much this year, and obviously the amount of injuries we've had in the secondary has given him an opportunity to move into that nickel spot, and I'm excited to have him back. I think just anytime you can get a 5-star athlete in this program, you feel kind of bullish on them, and I think Sage he's made some plays, and so I'm excited to see to get him back, especially in this blitzing defense that we're running now. Let's get Sage coming off that nickel spot and see if he can make some plays.
You know, it's an interesting topic because usually when we talk about do guys need to come back, are they ready? You're weighing the importance of games and whether or not you can get them back for a game that may be more important. And all of a sudden you look at it and you're like, well, the A&M game may have some importance in terms of getting to a bowl game, but this game against ULM, how important is it to rush somebody back from an injury? I don't know, but I do know that guys work so hard and they lift weights and they go to practice and they study film and they long out. They want to play in the games. Like, they want to get out there and play.
Yeah, I think I say that time and time again, man. You only get 12 times to do this. Yeah. And we really may only get 12 times to do that this year, especially. So you gotta take full advantage of the times you get to go out there, especially in Tiger Stadium, and play against your home crowd. That's the reason why you go to this school, to get opportunities to go out there and do something special and to make plays in front of your home fans. So I know he's itching to get back out there. You don't go through those rigorous summer workouts and fall, spring. It's year round. So those kids want to go out there and play. So I'm excited to get Sage back out there and see if he can make some plays.
So it looks like Sage Ryan potentially back and maybe a little bit more help at safety coming.
Jordan Toles back as well. What's kind of his status? Is he maybe going to play 2 sports at LSU, or sort of what's going on with him?
Yeah, I haven't discussed that yet with him as far as them playing 2 sports. I know he wanted to. We haven't been able to connect all the dots for him yet. But he had to take some personal time away. He's fine. He wants to come back, and I'll let him back on the football team. It's just personal time to take away, and hopefully he can play this weekend.
No, I don't know the backdrop of this story. I do know that when Jordan Toles signed out of the East Coast, that he was a highly thought of basketball player and a probably a little bit more highly thought of football player, but the indication was he may be able to play both. Now, when you come to LSU and you play football and scholarship and you play another sport, you have to count against the football scholarships. And more often than not, you are beholden to football first. That's the way it goes. I can't think of an instance where that wasn't the case. I mean, Jared Mitchell knew his future was going to be on the baseball diamond as opposed to the football field, but football came first. Then he was the most outstanding player of the College World Series. And we got drafted in, I believe, the second round by the White Sox. Maybe he was a sandwich round, but he was drafted pretty early. But when you by rule, if you play two sports and you're on the football team, you have to be on count against the football scholarships. That's a Bear Bryant rule because he was signing guys on track scholarships and they had to play football. It's not how it works anymore. But that's where you have to start. I don't know what Jordan Toles. I don't know what sport he favors. I don't know what sport he thinks he's better at. I don't know what sport he is better at. He's played more football. Obviously, hadn't been involved with basketball since he came on campus. But it's certainly an interesting story to follow. And as far as Coach O and playing two sports, he didn't care. He's leaving in 2 weeks, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I like the way he worded that. Well, I mean, that's just where we are at the program right now. I don't know. Looking at the basketball team, I don't know if it'd be worth the juice is worth the squeeze to go sit on the bench. I don't know if Coach Wade have some minutes for him at this point, man. I'm liking that rotation they have right now, but I think any depth you can get at the safety position. I didn't even know Toles was out. I just thought he wasn't playing. I didn't even hear about that. So. Obviously, with Major being out, I think you can definitely use the depth at safety, and hopefully Jordan can play this weekend.
So with that, we'll start looking forward to ULM, and Ed Ogeron did that to open his teleconference.
Yep, we had to regroup on Monday. It was a hurting football team. Lost a tough game, saw it overtime, but our guys have bounced back. We had an excellent practice yesterday. We're looking forward to having a great showing on Saturday night against UL Monroe.
It's natural to wonder how many times this team can get off the mat. And they have answered the last 2 weeks with resounding performances. They have played very hard. Not that they've won, and not that everyone's okay with LSU losing to Arkansas, but the defense showed up to play, and they've given as much effort as we could expect from them. Just haven't won games. This one feels like it's going to be tough to get off the mat. I mean, I can envision a scenario in a crisp, cool environment where the weather's changed and you've got a nice crowd in there for Arkansas and it's time to go and you play. You walk into that stadium and it's empty on Saturday and it's 8 o'clock at night and people are going hunting and the stadium's half empty against ULM. It's going to be tough for them to really bring their A game, in my opinion. But that's what I think.
Yeah, I've been saying that too, but for some reason, man, I think the veteran leadership on this team has really been showing up and allowing this team to play at a high level and play with energy and play with passion. I think, especially on the defensive side of the ball, I think the way Damone Clark and Micah Baskerville has been playing, it allows everyone to just continue to have something to play for, continue to play hard, continue to run to the ball. Obviously, mixing it up and allowing them to blitz is probably giving them some new juice and some new energy. We got to get a little bit on that on the offensive side and get those guys rolling. So I don't think the defense is going to, not show up. It's just, can we get this offense rolling? Can we score more points? Just not the level of consistency you want to see from LSU offense.
And to be clear, I think they'll play really inspired against A&M. I think on senior night, O's last game, a lot of these seniors' last games, Texas A&M, maybe a bowl, very likely a bowl in the line. I think that game you'll get an inspired effort. This just feels like it's going to be tough to get the engine revved a little bit on Saturday. Now, speaking of Ed Ogeron, we led with this, but I do want to get this. Scott Ravelay heard this and tweeted out that he thought O sounded a little bit down, and that was in response to a question about has he started to reflect that this is kind of coming to an end?
Yeah, it's getting close, but you know what? I said I'm going to enjoy every day. Obviously, the day I got the job, be able to coach at LSU. There's so many memorable games, so many memorable players, the crowd, the fans, winning the championship, all that. But I really, for me, on a daily basis, just be able to come to work and coach for the Tigers.
I have a lot of thoughts on that, but I'll toss it to you first. Your thoughts on that answer, on this situation, all that.
Yeah, it's very disheartening, man. I obviously, going into this season, I didn't really think things would go this south this fast, and then I definitely didn't think Coach O and this whole staff would be, out of the building and the university would be looking elsewhere for coaching. It's just a lot to fathom this fast and this quickly, and to see this thing kind of just, the wheels kind of fall off the way it has. And obviously, it takes time for these kind of things to set in, and you realize what's kind of taking place. And I think that's kind of what's setting in with this coaching staff, and especially with Coach O. Just having the heights that he's accomplished here, and to go so low like it has been this season, you can't predict those things. You can't even, imagine those things. And so I know it's probably hitting him hard now, just, being the leader of this state and, being the highest state paid employee. There's a lot that comes with that. And I know it's going to be tough for him to let that go. So I wish him well, and I wish the coaching staff well, and maybe we can bring some of these coaches back. But just a tough time to be part of that LSU coaching staff right now.
I'm just speaking in terms of Ed specifically, and I think there are certainly some people in the fan base who will say that he did such a good job in 2019. He's a Louisiana guy, and we're sorry it didn't work out, but he deserves a great finish here, and hopefully things go great over the last 2 weeks. There are some people in the fan base that say this guy should have been run out of the building the day they said, you're not coaching us anymore. He's creating distractions. He's saying things in press conferences. He's digging himself a deeper PR hole, and he's hurting the university. Get him out. And those are two far away things. And, for me personally, it's just kind of a deal where I'm looking at this going, man, any way you slice it, whether you're in the camp of get this guy out of here or, he deserves a great send-off, it's got to be emotional for him to have gotten this opportunity, to think you're on top of the world in 2019, and then to realize that, very, very possibly in 2 weeks, you're packing boxes and leaving what was a dream for you. And so, again, whether you are pro-O at this point, anti-O at this point, or just kind of where I am in the middle of the fence, like I'm looking at this team, hopefully they win, and who are we going to get for a new coach, it's got to be an emotional thing. And it's tough. It'd be tough to handle for anybody. And I do think that because I'm in that building on Wednesdays every week, and I do see a Coach O that's still saying hey to everybody in the hall and saying what's up, what's going on, and they're still out there practicing, and the guys are fighting pretty hard. So I realize that the press conferences have been interesting to say the least. You could say counterproductive if you want. I don't get too deep into the weeds on what people say in press conferences. You can have your takes on that either way, but it's got to be an emotional thing, and you can kind of hear it in his voice a little bit. And I think that as this thing draws out, you'll hear even more of it. And I'm curious to kind of see how it ends at the end of the Texas A&M game.
Yeah, when you're a Louisiana guy, especially having so many roots here and really having your family here and growing up here, and you're a coach, there's no higher pinnacle than becoming the head coach at LSU, especially in this state. There's nothing better. So to have to come to that acceptance that will no longer be the case, and where do you look towards after that? Do you even want to continue coaching? It's just so many things that Coach O and his family has to figure out. I'm sure you just can't do that in a week or in a day. It's going to take some time. And so I know just, accepting that is going to be very tough. But, yeah, you're going to have to do it. And the university's got to move forward and everyone's got to move forward. But it just sucks that it had to end this way.
Yeah, they're going to hire a coach in the next 3 weeks. And I have some thoughts based on last night's college football playoff selection show and ranking show, where things kind of stand with everybody. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Free money. We like free money. Sports betting's coming to Louisiana, and there's no better place to get in on that action than the FanDuel Sportsbook. To celebrate, FanDuel is giving you $100 in free site credit when you register for free before the site goes live. That's coming up. It hasn't happened yet, so you've still got time to go to the FanDuel Sportsbook, download the app, register, and they'll get $100 deposited right into your account. You can live bet, easy to place bets fast when you see a trend, something you like, halftime lines, all that you can do on the FanDuel Sportsbook. They've got odds boosters for parlays. They've got super boosts on the weekends. We've got basketball now. We've got football. Lots to get to on the FanDuel Sportsbook, and it's so easy to use. They're always hooking you up with great offers. And when you win, you get paid in as little as 2 hours. See it for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Register now. Get $100 in free site credit. You must be 21 and present in Louisiana. The bonus is issued on a non-withdrawable site credit that expires 7 days after FanDuel accepts its first real money sports wager. Unique user identity verification is required. The offer ends on the go live date. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my four boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
It's round 2 of the Prep Football Playoffs, and we get you started with Louisiana Prep Preview Friday night at 6. Catholic High and St. Augustine kick off at 7, immediately followed by a full 2 hours of the Louisiana Prep School Board Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So there's no real drama in the college football rankings show every week for LSU fans. We have lost 6 games, so we're not in it. But if you dig a little bit deeper, we do have to care a little bit, because I find it difficult to imagine LSU hiring a coach from a team that is in the college football playoff. It's just from a timing perspective, doesn't seem like it's going to work. And the reason's obvious. It's just they make these selections the first week in December, and then you don't play the game until New Year's. LSU's trying to hire a coach that's got to get in there and recruit for an early signing class. you can't really – sometimes coordinators that have taken coaching jobs elsewhere handle their business at the new job and then come back and game plan for the game. I just don't think a head coach can do that. It just doesn't seem doable. It's like, Brian Kelly, when he takes a Notre Dame job, it's from Cincinnati, like he's gone. Like he's not there anymore. Different story when Jim McElwain is taking the Colorado State job as a coordinator for Alabama, and he sticks around for the 11 title game. And there's lots of instances of that, but correct me if you think I'm wrong. I just can't see LSU hiring a head coach of a team that is in the college football playoff from a timing perspective.
Yeah, I could see it for one reason and one reason only. If Scott has his eyes on a guy and that guy agrees, and he's had his eyes on him for months now because they started this thing after the UCLA game, I could see him waiting it out and playing and waiting and seeing what happens, because if you know that's your guy, we've seen schools try to find their next head coach and hire, and you don't want to find LSU in that situation. So you want to find a guy that you know is very comfortable coming to Baton Rouge, and you have a nice plan for him in the future of LSU. And if that guy's playing in the college football playoff, I think you kind of have to ride that out. And if that's your guy, you kind of let him finish that thing out and maybe play both. I think you got to do that if that's your guy.
So the issue with that, that makes sense, but then my retort to that would be, okay, but that's if LSU hasn't hired a coach by January the 2nd, that agreement's going to have been made and that news is going to get out. I just don't think it's going to work. Yeah. If you determine, okay, this is my guy, he's going to take the job, and he's still coaching the team into the – first of all, he's probably going to want to get on down there and inside the recruiting. It's messy. So the issue is, okay, who could LSU target that would be in the college football playoff? Georgia's going to get in. Kirby Smart's not coming here, obviously. Dan Lanning's a defensive coordinator. That's not a name anybody's heard. I don't think anyone from Georgia's staff is coming to LSU, so you don't worry about that one. Alabama could make the list. They could beat Georgia. They could beat Auburn, beat Georgia. They could get in. They could even get in. There's a possibility with 2 losses. That'll make everybody real happy. I don't see anybody on Alabama's staff that's coming here to be a head coach. Nobody in Tuscaloosa has been happy with the coordinators. I don't think they're necessarily candidates for this job. So those are the top 2. Mario Cristobal from Oregon. Now, Oregon's an underdog this week against Utah. We'll see. They've got to win 3 more games to get in. But their path is pretty clear. You got to beat Utah, beat Oregon State, win a Pac-12 championship game, maybe against Utah again, and that would get you into the playoff. Ohio State, haven't heard any buzz from the Ohio State side of somebody that LSU could be targeting. Cincinnati, now it's still at 5, but you're looking at some potential shakeups right in front of them. And if Ohio State were to lose one of these 2 tough games or a Big Ten championship, or if Alabama were to lose to Georgia and fall out, Cincinnati would be right there. Luke Fickell. That's a name that was tossed around early. Haven't heard much of it since. I don't see anything from Michigan at number 6, but at number 7, Michigan State, Mel Tucker. They've got 2 tough games coming up that we know of. I think that's going to take care of itself. I don't think he's going to get in. And then I don't think Baylor can get in with Dave Aranda. They've got 2 losses already, a 2-loss Big 12 champion. I don't think so. And then obviously the biggest move from the selection show is Oklahoma falling all the way down to number 13. It is very difficult to find a path to Oklahoma getting in the college football playoff from 13. Now, Heather Dinich wrote a story, and the vast majority, I think like over 90% of the teams that have made the final, I'll look it up in a second, have been in the top 6 to this point. Oklahoma's at 13.
Yeah. They're going to need that Oklahoma State win. They're going to need to win the Big 12 championship. And then they're probably going to have to hope that the Big Ten and possibly the Pac-12.
They need Oregon to lose. They need Alabama to lose. They may need Notre Dame to lose.
Yeah, they're toast.
It's a lot.
They're toast if Georgia loses to Alabama in the SEC championship.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Then they're totally done. And I think the thing that kind of gives me a little hope for OU is that the ACC winner is probably going to be. I don't think they're going to pick an ACC winner. Where was Wake in that in the rankings?
So I just moved because I want to bring this stat up because this is relevant to a couple of the guys we're talking about here. Of the 28 semifinalists, 21 have been ranked in the top 4 at this point. 26 have been in the top 6. So to see where Oklahoma is right now, even with only one loss, because that's the guy that everyone wants to talk about right now. I mean, we're going to have someone from Norman come on tomorrow. I apologize. I won't give his name right now because I simply cannot pronounce it. I'm going to have to talk to him on the phone later today and figure out how to pronounce his name because it is as complicated as I've seen. But he's going to come on and talk a little bit about this. That's the guy everybody wants to talk about. I don't think they can get in. I really don't. You would need some sort of unprecedented sequence of events for Oklahoma to get into this, to get in from where they are.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. They're going to need help elsewhere. I'm trying to think, though, if they really do finish this season with one loss and they win the Big 12, do you really think the committee's not going to put them in there?
Okay, well, let's do it. I mean, this is the exercise. So Georgia's in. They're going to be assuming they beat Georgia Tech and they only have one loss in the championship game. Georgia's in. So we have to find room for Oklahoma here. So Alabama loses to either Auburn or Georgia, they're out. So we've got them out. Oregon's got to lose to Utah one of the two times. They're out. Utah can't get in. So then you've eliminated the Pac-12. Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State.
They're going to beat up on each other.
Well, they are.
Some of those are going to have two losses automatically.
You need Ohio State to beat Michigan State to knock them out, and then you need Michigan to beat Ohio State to knock them out, and then you need Michigan to lose in the conference championship game to knock them out. I still don't think that's going to – the Big 12, the Big 10 – with as tough as it is at the top with the wins that they've accumulated, where Oklahoma can't really point to anything outside of an Oklahoma State win, it's all hypothetical, but maybe. Notre Dame is 9-1. Their one loss is to number 5 Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State. Now, Oklahoma can handle them this weekend, in 2 weeks. Wake Forest. They're ahead of them still by...
That's what I'm thinking.
They're 3 spots ahead of them. Now, I think Wake will probably lose again because they're not any good.
Yeah.
But it's hard to wrangle up enough losses.
Yeah, it's going to be very similar to LSU in 2007. You're going to need some real luck, some real games lost, and some teams really helping you out because, yeah, if there's any chance that there's a Big Ten winner with one loss, they're going to be over Oklahoma, no doubt, no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Obviously, if Oregon has one loss with that big Ohio State win, they're going to be in over OU. Obviously, Bama has one loss. Georgia has no losses. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I think the only thing they can hope for is Wake knocking themselves out, so no ACC winner in there. And then you hope these Big Ten teams beat each other up, and then maybe you can get an Oregon at 3 and then maybe slide in. But then you got undefeated Cincinnati who has that win over Notre Dame. So it's going to be tough for OU, man. Maybe Lincoln, maybe looking elsewhere.
Look, the point of this whole conversation where we're running through teams and trying to find losses in a week is the fact of the matter is that Scott Woodward very likely is going to be able to name his guy after the SEC championship game unless he wants Mario Cristobal, Luke Fickell. That's probably it. I mean, Aranda, Kiffin, Riley, Napier, all the names we've heard, those guys are not going to be in the playoff, very likely.
Yeah. That timetable, I think we're talking to Brody about it. The timetable that's realistic for LSU, I think that it may be after the SEC championship, possibly after the A&M game, because you see how important recruiting is. We've been stuck at this 14 number, which isn't too alarming. We've been stuck at 14, but you got to have to finish this recruiting class, especially, you finish the season the way you did. You're going to have to get some guys in here. And I think, especially with the transfer portal rules and it's being a lot easier for coaches to get guys, we got, 4 guys in the portal right now already?
Yep.
So we're going to have to hit the portal hard. We're going to have to get this recruiting class, and you only do that with a new head coach. And so I see Woodward really not waiting and holding his hands with this. I think he's got to find this guy pretty soon here.
It's just, this feels a little bit, it's not the same at all, but it feels like the COVID discussions that we had in this studio while there were no sports. Everything we were talking about was hypothetical. If this happens here, if this happens here, if this is your guy, it's all hypothetical, and it runs round and round in circles, but it is what it is. And I think LSU is now in a little bit better position after that Oklahoma loss. Baylor with 2 losses, Ole Miss not. I think you really, are going to have your pick and your timing the way you like it if you're Scott Woodward. That's my opinion. Now, again, I tend to think that most people, specifically on message boards and Twitter and all that kind of stuff, really don't know anything. it's possible that some newspaper guys, know some things, and it's possible that things up in Norman are a little bit restless, like Tom Luganbill is talking about. All that stuff may very well be true, but I am of the mind right now where I'm just running out the next 2 weeks and assuming that we're not going to know anything for sure the next 2. It's cool. It sounds cool to get on there and say, I was talking to somebody and he said this, and we know that that's not how Scott Woodward works.
No.
Look, I will tell you, I know here it is, but it's the exact opposite of what the end of the story usually is. I spoke with someone yesterday who is very close with Scott Woodward. They spend time together around football games, hunting. I spoke who's very close to Scott Woodward. He said he didn't tell me anything. And that's the opposite of it. Yeah. I know a guy and he found this out. Like that's our like. Yeah. It's the opposite. Like Scott Woodward has a guy he spends a lot of time with. The guy doesn't know anything.
Yeah. I think the second part to that is the head coaches aren't going to tell you anything. When Jimbo was at Florida State, he said, I love Florida State. Yeah. I'm not leaving Florida State. Next thing you know, he said, "Hey,
Nick said, I'm not going to be the head coach at Alabama," and I love it. You can lie. That's all you can do. Whatever you want. You don't need to be misleading recruits on purpose because that's their lives. Mm-hmm. You need if you want somebody to write something wrong in the newspaper, who cares? Like that's not the coach's responsibility. So, and it's not the newspaper's fault if they print a quote that's in a press conference. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So that's kind of where I am on that. It's silly season. It's out of control, and it is what it is, and there's a degree of excitement to it. But I just don't jump on board with every rumor and every flight tracker and oh my God, an airplane landed in Norman. Can you believe this? I'm not. It's fine. People flying to Norman all the time.
Man, look, it gets the people going. I know one thing about that. They go crazy for this coaching search. They are probably driving themselves nuts trying to figure out who the next guy is, who's saying what, or the denials, and who's not denying, and who's saying what at press conferences. Man, it's juicy stuff, but it's not going to get you the next head coach anytime soon. Just got to wait this thing out, people. Scott Snows.
Let's go smoke ULM, baby. 8 o'clock kickoff Saturday night. Yep. All right, let's go. Let's take a time out. Sharief Ishaq talking Saints next on Hunt and Hill.
Holding down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow.
Coming up on Thursdays Off the Bench, ESPN's Ryan McGee talks college football. Plus, all search and no news makes the LSU fan base a dull boy. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Their instructor is speaking.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Out in the open field on a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill. Let's go back to the phone line. Sharief Ishaq, WDSU, talking Saints with us as he does most weeks. Sharief, you got mad and threw your visor out of the house on Sunday. You've recovered from that?
That's not the only thing I threw and broke. I didn't break the visor. I broke a gnome, a Yankees gnome. I kicked it after the missed extra point, and the head went 32 yards, exactly the distance of an extra point. So, and it was a pretty good looking kick too.
Well, Sean's already made a move there. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I mean, dude, let me tell you, man, what could go wrong did go wrong at the game and at my house. So.
All right, well, let's talk about the game a little bit. Kind of your thoughts on Trevor Siemian again. I think that the reviews weren't quite as promising, but still not great.
Listen, I'm on the other side of it. I thought he did pretty well outside of the 2 sacks he took before the end of the half, which Sean Payton said it was probably more on him because he should have called better plays and put him in better position to avoid those sacks. However, as a quarterback, you can't take back-to-back sacks and lose out on an opportunity to attempt a field goal. That's why I highlight the word attempt. But I thought he engineered the offense as good as possible. But you still have players dropping balls, Adam Troutman, and you still have guys with false starts. Dude, let me tell you what. After the game, that was probably the most frustrated Sean has been the entire season. He's been very relaxed, stress-free whenever he talks to us on Fridays, and even after the games when they lose. That was the most frustrated he's been. And I know it probably has to do with that penalty at the end of the half. But whenever you add everything else, the Harris fumble, the false start by Troutman, the drop pass by Troutman, the penalties, I mean, that stuff is going to frustrate you in a game on the road. Well, you can't have that. This team isn't 2017 to 2020 Saints with Drew Brees. This is 2021 where you have zero margin of error.
For sure. So I know in the SEC, when there's a bad call, LSU submits information to the SEC. They get a response back. Sometimes they're like, yeah, I missed it. Sorry. What's the protocol in the NFL? And if they heard anything on that roughing the passer, I mean, is that technically the right call? It looked terrible to me.
Even the umpire and the referee in the booth, who was the referee, I guess the guys, they have referees and
sure.
that are with that were with Kevin Harlan. They said that was the wrong call. I think it was Gene Sterator. Well, who am I mixing up with?
Joe Tessitore.
Yeah, whatever. He said it was the wrong call, and I agree with him. He barely touched his nameplate. I mean, what are we calling here? The NFL roughing the passers just seem like it's 10,000 times worse than college football. I mean, you can't even come close to the quarterback. I've seen a call. I saw a call this weekend where the quarterback got his arm hit and they called roughing the passer. It's the wrong call. I mean, if Gene says it's the wrong call and most of the officials say it's the wrong call, then it is the wrong call. I mean, anyone could see it was the wrong call, and that was a game-changing call, and Sean has a right to be mad, and he was right. He was mad the next morning, too. Called it a gut-wrenching loss because of that call. But let's not blame it just on one call. It was a disaster in so many levels for that team that lost by 2 points.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much could this Saints offense use Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas last Sunday?
10, 20, infinity.
13,
everything. 100, 13, 41. There you go. That's where it is right now. However, like I said, Trevor was making the good passes. I mean, yeah, those guys would certainly help. I mean, you're playing with a bunch of late-round picks, undrafted players on your offense as your skill position players. And after a while, that stuff is going to come back to bite you. I mean, it's not Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback. You have Trevor Siemian trying to engineer an offense with a lot of late-round draft picks and undrafted players. And you're going to get those mistakes. And in the NFL, you're not playing an FCS team. You're playing NFL players every single week. I mean, it's hard to make up a lot of those mistakes if your team isn't what the Saints have from 17 to 20. So they've got to find a way to fix those issues. And I think Sean said, hey, we got to put the right players on the field. And without saying names, I think, he's pointing his finger right at Adam Troutman.
Okay. A name that Saints fans were excited about, some really didn't move the needle much for, was Mark Ingram, the all-time leading rusher now. Do you think he can hold in for Alvin Kamara until he comes back?
Yeah, I think so. He runs hard between the tackles. He runs hard outside of the tackles. He runs hard along the edge. He's good in the screen game. I mean, that was like a perfect signing for them. They, a blessing in disguise, getting him at the exact right time. He's got a lot of gas in his tank, and he's going to continue to play at the level that he's always played in with the Saints. So, yeah, I think he can make up for the loss of Alvin Kamara until he comes back, but they still need more production from other players around him to help the running game a little bit more. They need to have a consistent running game throughout the game. They shouldn't be playing from behind the sticks and 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 8. They need to be in 3rd and 2 instead of 3rd and 7 and 8 for most of the game. So, yeah, he helps, but they need more production, Jeremy.
I realize they got a penalty that backed them up on the last 2-point conversion, but the fact that the Saints haven't converted a 2-point conversion in like 3 years is shocking to me because of the quarterback they've had, the playmakers they've had, Taysom Hill. Like, they've got so many. They should be great on 2-point conversions. Any reason why they suck at it?
For the luck of the draw. I mean, they missed 2 of them against the Falcons.
Yep.
They missed one here against the Titans. I think it's 8 straight failed 2-point conversions, and that's it's a little bit of a head scratcher knowing the offense they've been running. I'd like to look back at how many of those 2-point conversions came in losses as well, and some of them probably came in wins. To be honest with you, I would say that a lot of the 2-point conversions came in the losses this year, and maybe some last year. Outside of that, they shouldn't have been in that position. I know Troutman flinched and they cost them 3-5 yards. They shouldn't have been in that position if Brian Johnson makes 2 extra points. They should be lining up to kick the game-winning extra point instead of going for 2 points. Also, if either the fumble or that roughing the passer call don't happen, the Saints probably win the game 24-16 and making the extra points and avoiding one of those 2 big plays.
Eagles, top 5 team in the NFL in rushing, bottom 6 in passing with Jalen Hurts running the show. How do you like the matchup?
Saints run defense is the best in the NFL.
Yep.
I see that you got to stack the box here this week. It's funny enough that you say that. Last year, the Saints had that ridiculous streak of 100-yard rushers snapped in Philadelphia against the Eagles when Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts both ran for more than 100 yards. And I know they activated Miles Sanders today off of IR. They have that 21-day window to put him on the active roster now. So who knows if he plays. But, yeah, I'd stack the box. I like the matchup. I mean, the defense played relatively well last week. I mean, I still think they need to get their sack numbers up. That's the only issue. They have to get that a way to get that defensive line to be more productive getting after the quarterback. But for me this week, I would say the key is stack the box. Make Jalen Hurts beat you. And I understand he has Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner, and they're starting to connect a little bit more, but they got to stack the box and let Jalen Hurts beat you. Not with his feet, with his arm. Got to let him beat you with his arm this week.
I know you just mentioned Devontae Smith. Do you think Lattimore can match up with him, or do you think that's pretty much a tough matchup?
Had some issues with these speedsters. It gets Gets a little rap. I don't know what it is with Lattimore. He does so well against these big-name receivers, and then you get him matched up against his first, second-year receivers or unknowns, and he has those issues. Now, it could be that the quarterbacks are getting a lot of time, and when the quarterback holds the ball for 4 or 5 seconds in the NFL and running underneath routes, I guess that's too much time to hold a receiver down, but going to have to step it up this week. You really need to, get back to the guy who plays well against Mike Evans and any other big-name receivers, Devontae Adams. But this week, that's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough, especially if Jalen has a lot of time to throw it to him, a guy who's a burner down the field. It's hard to contain him. So we'll see how they play him. I think he's their biggest threat, of course.
Most overused phrase in sports radio, very likely must-win game. I would contend that it's not because you've got a lot more to play. But obviously Buffalo and Dallas are waiting. You've still got to go to Tampa. How big is this one?
You heard the teams you just said?
Yeah, I did.
It's a must-win game. No joke. I don't care how cliche it is. This game is a must-win game, knowing that they have Buffalo, Dallas, and Tampa Bay coming up here short. And then they got to play the Jets in New York. And we know how the Saints play against teams that aren't good. They just find ways to lose those games. Giants, Falcons, games
Panthers.
Like that. Panthers aren't bad. I mean, in that game they were depleted coaches, depleted players, so they shouldn't have won that game. They should have beaten the Falcons and Giants. Tennessee, maybe. I don't know, man. They should have 2 more wins, in my opinion. They should be 7-2 right now. That's just me. I just think they should be 7-2. But yeah, it's a must-win game. They got to win this game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Considering it's a short week against Buffalo, where they're going to honor Drew Brees at halftime for that Thanksgiving game against the Buffalo Bills, and that's good for him because the last time we saw him walking off the field was his last game and a loss in front of like 1,000 people in the playoffs. So he deserves a little bit better than that, and hopefully they get him a win.
Who is LSU going to hire to be their football coach?
I know Scott Woodward likes to swing for the fences. I'm sure he'll try as best as possible to go after Lincoln Riley. I mean, that would be great if he gets Lincoln Riley. Also, I'm not opposed to Dave Aranda. I love Dave Aranda. He relates well to the players, good defensive-minded coach. My one concern is can he get the offense going in the SEC? So I'll go Lincoln Riley. I think Scott's going to offer him, $10 million a year to make him the highest-paid coach. I don't know. Who do you think?
We'll see. I'm hopeful for Lincoln Riley, but I just don't know. And that's what I've been telling people. I just don't know. We'll take care of the garden gnomes and the visors and maybe put some bubble wrap around some stuff for Sunday's game. All right.
I'm going to be a little bit better this week because I'm officiating Chris Hagan's wedding, so there will be no Sharief throwing things this week. I have to be very good this week and make it to his wedding at 5:00.
We appreciate some time, Sharief. See you next week.
Anytime, guys.
Sharief Ishaq from WDSU. As you mentioned, the Saints will honor Drew Brees at halftime of the Saints-Bills game. I was planning on going to that game, getting some tickets late because they were going to be cheap. No longer. I will not be there because that's going to triple ticket prices right there. So take a time out. I'll come back and close out hour number 1 of Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
BreakMedics.com, new to Baton Rouge, and an awesome service that they have got over there. They will come to your home or your place of business. They'll come to you to service your brakes. They've got ASE certified techs, fully insured to come service you at your home. You can save the hassle and the issues that come with taking a trip to the repair shop, sitting there, thumbing through your phone on Instagram, waiting on them to get the parts, waiting on them to get to your car, waiting on them to perform the service. You don't need to do all that. You got kids and you're staying at home. If you work from home, they can come to you. Go to BreakMedics.com, type in your information. They'll get you a quote, and they can come out and set a schedule for you to service your brakes. Anywhere in our listing area, Baker to Brewley, Prairieville to Denham Springs, everywhere in between, BreakMedics.com wants to come to your place and service your brakes. BreakMedics.com, we make house calls.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my four boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care.
Coming up on a Wednesday edition of Early Line, we look at some more lines of interest in the college football and NFL weekend, and we talk fantasy football with Ben Mintz of Barstool Sports. Join us 2 to 3 p.m., 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I lost a battle in my home last night. I'm going to lose the war on Sunday, but I lost a battle yesterday. She lit a Christmas candle.
Oh, man. Those decorations are coming up pretty fast here then.
Sunday. Tree Sunday, music Sunday, stockings, candles, cookies. The whole thing's happening Sunday. That is insane. It is November the 16th as of yesterday. That's ridiculous.
Can I get a Thanksgiving dinner first at least? Like,
That's what I'm saying. You can't just, it's 80 degrees outside today. You can't just be skipping around. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. It's beginning to look a lot like summer out there. It's 80.
Yeah. Look, I'm in your camp with you, brother. Look, let's chill on the tree. Let's just relax a little bit. After Thanksgiving, then we can start introducing some of the Christmas
I agree.
spirit.
However, when she's 7 months pregnant, you have to pick your battles.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be one that I'm going to willing to induce tears over, is because she wants on Sunday, as she termed it, to put all the decorations up, buy the tree, put on a Christmas movie and get hot chocolate and snuggle. It's like, it is 100 degrees outside.
What are we doing, man? Hey, happy wife, happy life, man.
I mean, get in the Bayou 4 chat and tell me if I'm wrong or right here about putting up a little bit of a fight on Christmas music and decorations on November the 16th.
Look, we got the
Casey.
Look. Now we got the producers. Just
It's
Casey
just-
Gaines over here, just playing the carols.
Dak Cajun says in the Bayou Ford chat, "We know who wears the pants, buddy." Well, that's for sure. There's no question about that. That's never been up for debate.
Hey, look, happy wife, happy life, man. You got to pick your battles. You got to know what you're doing in there. So look, we got to throw up the Christmas decorations. What, a month and a half
Miracle
out
on
of Christmas.
34th Street playing in my house on Sunday. I'm gonna go outside and take the tree in sweating.
Yeah. Look, yeah, I'm with you, brother. You got to get those decorations up ASAP.
Just thinking we could get to the weekend after Thanksgiving. We're a week early, but you know what? It's what the bride wants. It's what the bride gets. Soon I don't make any decisions when the baby comes in 2 months. So here, that's just where we are. Fast moving first hour. Had in the teleconference sound. A lot of college football playoff and coaching talk. Then Sharief Ishaq joined us. Second hour, we have got a lot of LSU stuff. Cody Worsham is going to be up in about 5 minutes talking about this NILSU stuff. It's going to be a huge deal. And Mikey Romero, big piece of LSU's baseball signing class, is going to join us at 1:30. You want to talk about his trip to Baton Rouge this past weekend and what he thinks about this NILSU stuff that was launched today. So that's all coming to you on a second hour of Hunt and Hill on a Wednesday.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rufino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit
Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Mikey Romero, number one shortstop in the state of California, part of LSU's number one ranked signing class, is going to join us in 30 minutes. I want to talk to Mikey about his first trip to Baton Rouge, as well as what he thinks about this new name, image, and likeness launch from LSU. And I know that there are a lot of people listening that don't love the name, image, and likeness stuff. They want things the way they've always been, and kids are going to focus on that. It's all about money and all. And look, trust me, I understand where you're coming from. I don't necessarily agree, but I understand that people like change is uncomfortable for people. But if you're a fan of LSU, you should be happy that LSU is on the forefront of this, because it's going to help you recruit good players to play at LSU in all these different sports. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge deal.
So you're telling me there's a chance we can get Arch Manning or something like that?
No, I'm telling you.
That's a little too far. It's a little too far. Okay, but no, I actually do. I totally agree with you. It's definitely a great idea. And I think for a lot of the kids, especially in the state of Louisiana who are here, they'll have no reason to leave. If we're pumping NIL and that thing is rolling and they're seeing kids, secure these deals time and time again, why else would some of these kids leave the state? You get to play in front of your home state, get your family at home games, and you get to put some cheese in your pocket while you're doing it. So I love it, and I think it's great for the kids.
So we know back in the summer when name, image, and likeness, college athletes were able to capitalize on that. LSU was in Times Square, way out in front of it, and really made a great impression on a lot of people, and the social team did an unbelievable job. Today, Cody Worsham, who we'll have on here in just a second, launched part 2 of this, which is a huge story that he wrote over at LSUsports.net, detailing a partnership with some licensing, and we brought Cody on now to talk about it. Cody, thanks so much for your time. How are you?
What's up, guys? I'm great. I just watched a sneak preview of the latest episode of Gold Standard for LSU basketball, so I'm fired up right now.
Talk a little bit about that as well, but let's start with this name, image, and likeness piece that you wrote. I mentioned a few of the details there, but if you could kind of lay it out and tell us what the genesis of this big announcement was.
Yeah, so the news hook is that we've signed our group licensing agreement with Brandar. Essentially what they're going to do is, this is an oversimplification a little bit, but they'll be sort of what the NFL Players Association, MLB Players Association, NBA Players Associations are for the players in those leagues. They'll serve a similar role for our student athletes. So right now it's difficult for our student athletes to use our marks in a lot of campaigns, or it was. This is going to make that a lot easier. And so it'll mostly look like licensed products, jerseys, video games, when NCAA football returns, trading cards, the sort of thing where the third party selling the product, EA Sports, for example, needs to get a bunch of names and images and numbers and that sort of thing licensed. They'll go to Brandar and work that out with Brandar, and Brandar is going to already have representation with LSU and the student athletes who opt in. It is an opt-in process. Student athletes are going to have to sign up, but we're making that process seamless, and I imagine most of all will sign up, because you can opt into group licensing and still retain your individual rights and go do individual deals with whoever you want, for the most part, but still get the passive income from group licensing. So that's the news hook. A few other schools have done this already. We're not the first to do it, right, although we've been involved with it for a while, but we wanted to vet it out. But that's the news hook. But I also wanted to touch on sort of the larger NIL story that's been happening behind the scenes at LSU since the splashy announcement this summer. That was a lot of flash. It was great. It was our announcement to the world, like, we're embracing this, which a lot of schools aren't. But I wanted to also share some light on the actual work that's going on behind the scenes, to make that flash into substance. And so that's where the story is, and sort of how the application of NIL and our embracing of it isn't just words, it's action, it's things that we're doing every day. So that's the bigger story here.
You can follow him on Twitter at Cody Worsham. You're probably already doing that, and his piece is up at lsusports.net. You spoke with some of the student athletes on campus when you were putting this together, and you obviously do that day in and day out. What's their reaction been?
Yeah, they're excited. A lot of it kind of, and we're in the same boat too, whether it's the administration or me or other staff that are working on this. There's a lot of unanswered questions or questions that we're answering along the way. So there's been some uncertainty to navigate, but it's that fundamental approach of we're going to embrace this and not run from it that I think they're feeling that, and I've asked a few athletes, talked to Jack Besh for this story, talked to Cade York, talked to Sharief O'Neal, talked to a few other people for this story, and just I asked them honestly. I was like, look, how have you felt about our approach to this? Like, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? And all of them, to the last one, said we love that LSU's embracing it. We know that our brands may be strong, but they're stronger when we can sort of link that to LSU. So the group licensing agreement just sort of further develops that, and it gives them more options. It gives us more options. But all of them are excited. They still have questions. We have questions. We're working on answers. One of the people that I didn't mention in the story is Taylor Jacobs, who works in our compliance department. But our entire compliance department has taken a really heavy burden here in terms of educating student athletes, rolling out education. You'll see LSUsports.net/NILSU is up today, and there's some educational tools in there for athletes. It's kind of password protected and for them only. I mean, it's a major endeavor. We have the 2 new social media accounts at We Are NILSU on Twitter and Instagram, where yes, both the public can interact with that, but our student athletes can go there and get some resources too. So I think that's their feeling, is they're excited about it. Some of them have obviously already done deals. They've learned a lot from those deals, probably learned more doing those deals than anything else. And they've been real open with us and working with us, and they're excited to, leverage both their brand and LSU's brand.
We know guys like Derek Sinley Jr. and maybe a Darius Days, they probably won't have much trouble securing NIL deals. But with this group licensing, do you think the not as popular players on the campus will have more opportunity to get some deals?
Yeah, so an application would be, this is another that I'm working on is NFTs, right? Non-fungible tokens. And for those who don't know what NFTs are, think digital trading cards, right? So your traditional baseball card, for example, a digital version of that. NBA Top Shot, if you've seen that. We'll have some NFT application process too, because it's complicated and complex. But an NFT, at the Top Shot level, right? Like you buy a pack of these NFTs, right? And let's say you get 10 of them. Could pull a superstar athlete, right? Like the names that you just mentioned. An athlete from a sport that maybe isn't a ticketed sport, or maybe it's an athlete that isn't out there securing deals with major brands, right? But when they're on that licensed product, they're going to get royalties and revenue from that. So it opens up those doors. One immediate reaction that I got when I posted this story today was about the soccer kits. Like, a lot of our fans love our soccer kits, and there's still some larger logistical issues in terms of getting those produced for the fans. But essentially, in theory, now that there's group licensing and our soccer team makes the NCAA tournament next year and they're making a run and they've got great players, essentially, if we can get the other logistical sides of it in place, you could buy that jersey, and then that player would get trickle down from that and see a percentage of revenue from that. Before that was impossible, right? Like when we were growing up, Jeremy, when you were playing at LSU, like I couldn't have bought your jersey when you were at LSU and put 33 and Hill on the back of it. That would have been against NCAA rules. Now that's possible and group licensing. You can't go to LSUshop.net right now and buy your favorite player. There's a lot of logistical things from supply and demand and supply chains that's still going into that, but that's going to be here soon. And it's we've done our part now, and once those logistical pieces are in place, it'll be here.
What do you think about the Hoops team through 3 games?
Yeah, I'm excited, Hunt. I mean, I'm excited about the way they can guard. I saw Will after the game, after the 3rd game against Liberty, and he just kind of looked at me and said, "We can guard, can't we?" And he had a big smile on his face. The energy that he's giving off right now is the most encouraging part to me, because, and I didn't listen to his press conference today. I'm sure he came back and did the old coach thing where he's like, "Man, we got so much stuff to work on. We got to fix this, fix that." But the energy he's given off in the last couple of post-game press conferences, it's like you can tell that he's He's happy that what he saw in the fall manifesting itself on the court. Like, you never know. You never know if what you're seeing in practice is real or mirage, right? I think we've seen through the 3 games that what he was seeing is real and not a mirage. Now, they still have things that they're going to have to improve on that I'm sure he's been talking ad nauseum about in practice and in press conferences. I don't know that Darius Days is going to shoot 60% from 3 all season long. He might. I keep saying that, and he keeps doing it. So some of those things will change, but they've got some core things that they can do well, specifically the ability to sit down and guard, to generate some turnovers, to be switchy on defense. That'll carry through. So on the nights when they cool off a little bit, they'll be able to be competitive because they've got some fundamental building blocks. So not a perfect basketball team, but I love their makeup. I love their character. I love their energy. The way they approach the game. Days is so he embodies that. Just his work ethic. The story that I keep telling. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. Is I would always try to sneak into the Tiger Stadium weight room when no one was there. Like I try to go in early in the morning or later in the afternoon, so there's no I don't want to be in the way or anything. Every time I went in there this summer and this fall, Darius Days was in there on his own, running on a treadmill, doing core work, doing something with dumbbells. Like every time I went in there, he was working, and he beat me there, and he'd stay longer. And at one point I just asked him, I was like, man, what are you doing in here all the time? And there was just a laser-like focus to him. He said, I got one more season left. I got to make it count. And so you hear stories about that all the time, right? Like, oh, this guy's coming into his senior season. He's extra motivated. Like it's legit with Days. He came in, the work that he put in this summer. I think people are I'm not saying they're taking it for granted. They just don't know about it. But I'm here to tell you that kid worked his tail off this summer. He's seeing the fruits of that right now. Long may it last.
How much did Days help his draft stock coming back to school this year?
That's a great question. He's not going to be a traditional 4 at the next level, but the way he's shooting right now, he's no longer a traditional 4. Like, he still doesn't put the ball on the floor a ton and create, although he's shooting more off the dribble this year than he ever has. But like, if you can shoot the ball and guard multiple positions, you've got a shot at the next level. And what he's shown this year is he can be a primary offensive weapon. Now, is he going to go to the next level and be that? No, but if you can be a primary offensive weapon in the SEC and be an SEC Player of the Year candidate, you can find a spot at the next level where you go in and you grab rebounds and knock down threes and guard. Like, there's a high demand for that at the next level. Guards grow on trees, and you can find a good 6'3", 6'4" guard, at the NBA, basically anywhere you look. The 6'7" guy that can rebound, knock down threes, defend, has high character, like that. Still early, but I promise you the scouts that talked to him last year and said, hey, these are the things you need to work on. They're going back and looking at his film from these first 3 games, and they're saying, okay, that kid worked on it. Like, he fixed the things that we wanted him to fix. That's going to bode well, too. As well as he's playing, it's that ability to take coaching and implement it on the floor. That's valuable, too. So I'm excited to see where he goes next year, but we've got him for a few more games, so I'm excited about that, too.
Thanks for your time, Cody.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Cody Worsham, digital media reporter over there at LSU. Big day for LSU announcing that partnership with licensing. And there are some ramifications in terms of what it means for the actual programs, not the individual kids. I think that probably interests our listeners more because they pull for they don't necessarily care what the kid's checking account says. They just care if we won the game or not. So we'll talk about a little bit of that later on, or next on Hunt and Hill.
Serving up the latest from the sports world. It's Hunt and Hill. We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my four boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at patientplusuc.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. We'll preview the weekend ahead with Russ Mitchell. We'll get the latest college football playoff rankings, and it's a Whiskey Wednesday. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Mikey Romero, LSU baseball signee, number 1 shortstop in the state of California, will join us in about 12 minutes. And we will talk to him about what we just discussed with Cody about this new name, image, and likeness agreement that LSU has reached with a licensing company that is going to allow LSU's athletes to pair with the university in the licensing agreement, so that things like NFTs, like cards, jersey sales, all that kind of stuff can partner LSU and their players to help bring businesses in and create some money. Right now, it's difficult for the players, as Cody said, to use their LSU jersey, their logo in any picture or video they shoot because they needed to reach this type of licensing agreement, and they have. And so I don't necessarily care a ton about the mechanics of how it works. I'm not a business savant. I'm not in the middle of this. It doesn't really affect me. I'm more like most of the fans here who just want to see how does it affect what's going to be on the court, on the field, whatever. And you can speak to it from the people who are actually involved in this type of thing, and specifically from your time in the NFL with jersey sales and all that kind of stuff. But this is going to be a big deal on the baseball side of things. Baseball recruiting landscape changes so much and always is in motion. And there have been two major things that have happened in the last 6 months that have impacted amateur baseball players turning professional. One is the decision that the Major League Baseball made to provide housing for minor league baseball players. Two is this. It all comes down to money more often than not. And you were seeing more and more baseball players turn down professional contracts out of high school to go to college because minor league life is brutal. You're on those buses, you're on overnight trips, you're staying in hotels, you got tiny per diems, you got the bonus babies on your team that were the first round pick that signed for $4.5 million, and they're okay. But everybody else, seniors that signed for $15K and the juniors that signed towards the later round for, $87,000, like that runs out pretty quick, and that life is not all that great until you get to the major leagues. In college, you come, you got to go to class, but you're flying on charter planes, you're playing on ESPN, you got a chance to win championships, you're playing in front of 10,000 people in the SEC as opposed to nobody in Helena, Montana. The dynamic has changed, and so I think because it all comes down to money, if you can have some guys come through here like Dylan Cruz, like a lot of these guys in this signing class that LSU just inked, and we'll talk to one of them in 10 minutes, you can come here for 3 years and supplement yourself with jersey sales, NFT sales, commercials, shirt, all that kind of stuff, hitting lessons that you can give when you're down here. All of a sudden, it changes the dynamic. Yeah, the guy who's going to go 11th overall that's signing for 7.1, like that guy wasn't coming anyway. But if you're on the other end of it and you feel like your experience for 3 years in Baton Rouge is going to be better and you're not hurting and you can help yourself financially, I think it's going to be a big deal. Now, we'll see how big a deal this provided housing is on the other side that may make life a little better for minor leaguers. But the equation keeps changing, and it's interesting. When you were in the NFL, those jersey sale checks, they come in. I'm assuming it's a nice little perk, and you're not working all that hard to do that. That's just something that happens.
Yeah, they do that once a year. You get it after the season, after they tally it up, and they make the list of the highest jerseys sold, and they're keeping track of that. Some guys are a little hyper competitive with the jersey sales, but yeah, I think it's a great thing, and I think you can't downplay the NIL thing. I think you'll see it really come to fruition next year when these high school kids can really see just how much money these players have made. You see guys like DJU on national Dr. Pepper commercials. You got to let these baseball players have their season. They haven't played a lick of baseball. They haven't played an inning. When some of these guys start having, great seasons and great years, you'll see, the bigger deals kind of go. You see a guy like Kay Yark getting national deals. So that stuff is only going to help and be more enticing for a high school kid not to be, all overnight on buses and, sleeping on buses and living that minor league life when you can play in front of Alex Box and some of these beautiful stadiums in the SEC. That'll be a lot more enticing for kids to do.
The other side of this that is not professional rated, it's just in recruiting in school to school and college. You get 11.7 scholarships to fill out your 40-man roster. You're getting different offer numbers from every single school, and then that changes how much tuition you're going to owe. If LSU is in position, like maybe someone else that they're recruiting against is not, can say, yeah, you do owe this much because we can only offer you, 0.8 of a scholarship, but we've got this program here, and this is what our guys have seen in terms of what they've made financially, if that offsets some issue that you may have financially. So that's not even competing with the Cubs. That's competing with Ole Miss based on who owes more, who owes less. You throw tops in, you throw NIL stuff in. The dollars and cents. It's not like football where it's like you get a full scholarship here, you get a full scholarship to Georgia, take your pick. No, the numbers change in baseball. So I think, obviously Jay Johnson has spoken about this a little bit in his press conferences. He's going to be out in front of this. I think that's been communicated to some of their players. We'll ask Mikey Romero about it in 5 minutes, but baseball is the most interesting piece of this. The most lucrative is going to be football and basketball because they're just the most they're the most high profile. But that doesn't necessarily change your results on the field. This could change the players who end up in Baton Rouge and who don't. And I think LSU, as Cody says, is not the first school to do this, but they're certainly out front.
Yeah, that definitely. You got to be one of the schools that jump out front. That's kind of the question I did when I asked Cody is that, obviously we know the stars of stars in each sport. They're going to be making their money. But what about the guys who probably aren't going to start their freshman year, the guys who are, probably, going to play down the line? What's enticing for them? And I think this group licensing is a perfect idea for everyone to enjoy and to kind of get back behind. And obviously, like you said, I think the best part about it is that you can be a part of the group licensing and still go do your own thing with your, NIL stuff. Maybe, companies interested in you can still go do those things. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. The university gets to make a little cheese. The players get to make a little cheese. And the guys who aren't the star of stars, they still have an opportunity to make money. So I'm a huge fan of this deal.
And I realize we're in the infancy of this thing, but it's not as if this year when football players have been allowed to make some money off their name, image, and likeness from as small as Miles Brennan on these airwaves, endorsing a product. You mentioned DJU on national television endorsing a product. You got Livy Dunn over there in gymnastics who's done very well with her name, image, and likeness stuff through her Instagram account. Like, it's not like anybody's, quit because of it or decided that the money was too important, or I haven't seen any locker rooms fracture at this point. I mean, I realize there are some people that don't like change and they like things the way they used to be, but if you just look at this thing, it's not as if the college sports landscape is broken now.
Yeah, no, I don't think so at all. And I think I was having this conversation with someone a couple weeks ago, and they was like, man, wouldn't that NIL stuff like tear teams apart? And I was like, I don't think so. When guys sign up to play a team sport, there's no way, especially in football, you're going to have more than 11 on the field at one time. Guys know you got to wait your turn. You got to, be a team. And the same goes with NIL. Obviously, when you're not out there scoring touchdowns and balling out of control, it's going to be hard for you to make a case that you deserve X, Y, Z and NIL money. So I think guys understand that going in, and just having the opportunity to play for a school like LSU and a ton of the other schools we have in the SEC, I think it's going to open a ton of doors for these kids to make some change.
We've hit on a lot of things today. Had a little baseball talk coming up, chatted with Cody a little bit, some college football playoff, a little bit of Saints. If you're looking for LSU football talk, you can join us tonight, 8 to 10 on Eagle 98.1. It's the Tiger Zone. Jeremy and I will be taking your phone calls again from 8 to 10 tonight on Eagle. You can also find it on YouTube on the 104.5 ESPN stream. You can catch us here again, 8 to 10 tonight after LSU's coaches show with Ed Ogeron and Chris Blair over there at TJ Ribs from 7 to 8. So give us your phone calls tonight. We want to hang out with you. We will be here for 2 hours tonight from 8 to 10. That's presented by LaBerge of Baton Rouge. Let's take a time out. Come back with Mikey Romero, key piece to LSU's #1 baseball signing class. He was in Baton Rouge over the weekend after signing his letter of intent. Want to get all that information from Mikey. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Join me, Jimmy, out for the Wednesday evening edition of Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers. We're at Just Winging It at Old Jefferson and Hoosier 2. That's right, Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Out in the open field on a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill. Let's head out to California. That's where we'll find a young man who was dubbed as the #1 shortstop in the state of California for the 2022 class. But Jay Johnson last week dubbed him the third best shortstop in his own home. A couple of sisters who are stars on the softball diamond. This is Mikey Romero. Mikey, is that true? You're the third best shortstop in the house?
I mean, I say, when I was in 8th grade, definitely was the third best. But, I'm a senior in high school now, and I think there's a pretty big gap between me and my sisters. I'd say I'm the best shortstop in the family.
I like the confidence. All right, you obviously committed very early on to Jay Johnson at Arizona, and pretty quickly after he took the job here in Baton Rouge, you decided to follow Coach here to Baton Rouge. Why'd you make that decision?
For me, committing in 8th grade to Coach Jay, the biggest thing was a relationship that had trust, and I just wanted a coach that had my back and someone who was really fiery, and Jay Johnson has that. And then as soon as I heard he was going to LSU, no better spot than LSU down in Baton Rouge. Those fans, that stadium, just the atmosphere, and I felt it was right for me to follow him.
You got a little taste of Baton Rouge this past weekend. Tell me what were the highlights of that trip?
It was awesome. It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. Just going to the football game and then being able to watch the scrimmage and, see that there was about like 2,000, 3,000 people at a scrimmage. That was crazy for me. Just having people come up to me and saying like, "Oh, are you Mikey Romero, the recruit?" And it was just really cool to, see how invested they were in LSU baseball. And it was really cool to get down there, and I'm excited to get back down there in the spring.
Talk about just the opportunity to play in Alex Box in front of that crowd, and how does that make you feel coming in LSU?
So for me, I'm a I am a competitor. I love energy, and that stadium's going to give me a lot of energy. I can't wait to hit a double there and get the crowd going, get the crowd fired up, and I can't wait to just hear people screaming. And, I can't wait to take the field with all those guys and just win baseball games.
Chatting with Mikey Romero, one of the prize recruits in Jay Johnson's #1 signing class that was inked last week. Obviously, you're fairly new to this class. When high school baseball players commit very early in their high school careers, you certainly did as an 8th grader to Arizona. But Jay Johnson did a great job of kind of putting this class together really quickly after he got this job. Have you gotten a chance to get to know anybody in this class, or is it a little bit too early for that?
No, actually, me and everyone in this class are super close. It's a really tight-knit group. We've played with each other over the course of the summer at, things like PDP, Perfect Game All-American Classic, Under Armour Game, all that good stuff. And, guys like Gavin Guidry from Louisiana, Brady Neal from Florida, all those guys. And then, Justin Crawford from Nevada. All those guys are really good friends of mine. And, we're talking in our group chat every day.
That's awesome to hear. So I want to ask, it may be a little bit ahead, but it's something that we were talking about a little bit earlier on this show, because LSU made an announcement today about a new partnership with Name, Image, and Likeness, and the opportunity that college athletes have now to capitalize on that. And obviously baseball players in Baton Rouge are pretty high-profile players and profile people in this community. Is that something that the coaching staff has talked to you about? Is that something that you have considered as you look to move towards college?
Yeah, so, with the Name, Image, and Likeness stuff, I'm already doing a little bit of it. I signed the deal with Big League 2, and I'm working towards, signing maybe a couple more. But, when it comes to LSU, I think that's just going to open up a lot more opportunities for, me and the rest of the players. We didn't really talk about it too much, but, when you're a baseball player at LSU, I'm pretty sure it's going to, open some opportunity to be able to work with some companies.
What do you think is going to be your biggest hurdle going to college baseball? Is it going to be fielding, or do you think at the plate's going to probably give you the most challenge?
Honestly, I think it's just going to be adjusting to the new atmosphere. When it comes to me, I'll make adjustments. The baseball side's going to take care of itself. I'll work hard, but, I think it's that new atmosphere. I'm just going to have to get used to it, and it's going to be pretty sweet. But I'd just say the atmosphere.
Signing day being what it is in baseball back in November, prior to you playing your senior season in the spring of next year, really kind of frees everybody up to enjoy their last season on a high school diamond before the summer comes, the draft comes, and then either that decision, college, professional baseball. Do you have any anticipation of what that will be like for you, your senior season, and then when draft time comes around?
Are you asking me? Can you say that?
Yeah,
again,
what's that process going to be like as draft time comes, and then you have a decision to make whether or not you want to live out a dream and play in professional baseball, or you want to go live out a dream and play college baseball in front of 10,000 people at LSU?
Yeah, college is a once in a lifetime experience, and that's something that I definitely want to experience. Especially after this weekend. It was honestly one of the best experiences of my life, and I'd love to play with all the guys that are currently there. I got to meet guys like Cade Veloso, K. Doty, just a bunch of great guys. And I would just really want to be part of it. The draft, it's going to have to be something crazy that's going to take me away from LSU. But right now I'm just excited to get to Baton Rouge.
Well, Mikey, have a great time at your senior season in the spring. When you come down to Baton Rouge again, let's do this again, all right?
Sounds good. Thank you.
He is Mikey Romero, a shortstop, number one shortstop in the state of California, who's a big piece to this class. And that's to me, when I have heard the things that he said in interviews, obviously hearing him here, he sounds like a kid who's really excited to have the opportunity to play college baseball. The draft is always a dream for everybody, and to have your name called is great. But LSU is going to have a lot of guys in this class, Mikey included, who will have conversations and decisions to make when the draft comes next summer. But that's, as an LSU guy, I'm really hopeful that he shows up because he's a heck of a player.
Yeah, he sounds like he has a ton of confidence. Obviously, going from being the third best shortstop in your house, man, you got to get better. So that's kind of what he's had to do, and now he's feeling good about himself. And I'm excited to see a guy with that much confidence being ranked as highly as he is. What type of impact he can have on LSU, and just what he said just now. It's going to take a lot from the big leagues to get him away from LSU. So I'm excited to see what he can do for the Tigers.
baseball recruiting is nothing like football recruiting. You know that by now, and we've documented your recruiting story a lot of times with the people in your state and in becoming a class and becoming friends because you've grown up together and have been part of camps and signing classes and all that kind of stuff, and you've got some pride in the state. This LSU baseball class has 2 guys from Louisiana in it. But because of all these showcases, because of social media, the group chat he's talking about, these guys have had a chance to kind of come closer. And, I think that's a great thing. The group chat is a totally different dynamic than what you would have had 15 years ago. And it allows guys who aren't together very often, if ever, to kind of come together and be together all the time. And I think becoming close is such an important thing. And Jay Johnson had to put this class together on the fly. I mean, you usually have guys committed in classes for 3 or 4 years, literally. And these guys, for the most part, he's having to put together in a span of, 6 months. And he was able to do that, and that's an exciting thing. This class looks absolutely loaded for LSU baseball.
Yeah, if we can just get some of these guys to stay away from the majors, Jay Johnson's going to be cooking with some hot grease, man. You want your program to put together classes like this. You hear Jimbo raving about it week after week about the class he's putting together. So you got to commend Jay Johnson for doing this, especially just having only 2 guys from Louisiana being at LSU, best university in the state, but great class, and I hope some of these guys can actually become Tigers in the future.
High school's changed since I went. I mean, obviously it's 11:40 in the morning over there in California, and he was like, "Yeah, I can do that anytime between I can do that, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday." Obviously, there's a little different class schedule than when I was locked at Loyola from 7:45 to 2:45 every single day.
Yeah, same here. Redemptus High School, 7:30 in the morning. You're rolling to about 3 in the afternoon, so you just get used to it.
We appreciate Mikey Romero for joining us. You miss anything that we've talked about today, Mikey? Cody Worsham with the NILSU stuff, Sharief Ishaq on the Saints. All that's going to be on demand, 1045ESPN.com, as well as on YouTube, driven by you Ford. Take one more time out. Close up a Wednesday. It's Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
FanDuel Sportsbook. Sports betting is coming to Louisiana. You got to get on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Download the app, $100 credit. I've been telling you about it for a couple of weeks now, and it's not going anywhere until that go-live date hits, and then that offer to get the $100 in free credit is going to be gone. But don't worry. There will be some more odds boosts and some great offers moving forward that we're so excited to tell you about right here on Hunt and Hill. The FanDuel Sportsbook is safe, secure. It's 100% legal and regulated, and when you win, you can get paid in as little as 2 hours. Use the promo code WNXX to show them we sent you there, and they'll give you that $100 in free site credit with the FanDuel Sportsbook. It's so easy to use. They got the boosts, they've got the specials, and they've got live betting as well. If you're watching the game on the couch, punch in your live bet, watch it, get paid in as little as 2 hours. The FanDuel Sportsbook, proud partner with us on Hunt and Hill. You got to be 21 and present in Louisiana. The bonus is issued on a non-withdrawable site credit that expires 7 days after FanDuel accepts its first real money sports wager in Louisiana. Unique user identity verification is required. The offer ends on the go-live date. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. But then you came along.
There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call.
It's round 2 of the Prep Football Playoffs, and we get started with Louisiana Prep Preview Friday night at 6. Catholic High and St. Augustine kick off at 7, immediately followed by a full 2 hours of the Louisiana Prep School Board Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Thanks to Mikey Romero for stopping by. Hope we can get that kid to campus. He's a hell of a player. He's great on defense, got a sweet left-handed stroke. He is very, very good. I'm excited about Throwback Thursday tomorrow, presented by AccuTemp. It is the most fun I've ever had in Tiger Stadium. That'll be the only hint I give, but it's the most fun I've ever had in Tiger Stadium. Very much looking forward to that. We'll also go to Norman tomorrow to get some more Lincoln Riley information. I can tell you that he works for Sooner Scoop. He's a staff writer there, does some radio work, and his name is Bob, but I cannot for the life of me say his last name. P-R-Z-Y-B-Y-L-O. Przybilo. I don't know. I will call Bob this evening and get a phonetic pronunciation of his last name. But we want to check in on Norman and see what the smoke is like from there. So big show coming up on Thursday. But first, we got to wrap up a Wednesday show and then do the Tiger Zone tonight. Let's take it or leave it. Jets are starting Joe Flacco at QB on Sunday. Taking or leaving, moving on from Mike White is the right move.
I'll leave it. Like, it's the immortal Mike White, guys.
It's a creative player.
Like, what are we doing? The guy almost threw for 400 yards in a game. Like, we gotta
White, Jason Brown at South Carolina, all these bad quarterbacks that you just love. Get Joe Flacco in there. He's a star. Didn't he win the MVP of the Super Bowl?
And he's elite Joe Flacco.
He's a rich guy is what he is.
Yeah, Jets, dumpster fire, man. What are we doing over there? All right, Carlos Correa. He says Derek Jeter doesn't deserve one of his gold gloves. Are you taking or leaving? The 5-time World Series champion didn't deserve one gold glove?
I'll tell you what I'll take. Carlos Correa is a free agent. He ain't signing with the Marlins. I don't think Derek Jeter's going to be coughing up $220 million to a guy who said he sucked on defense. So that's all I'll take from that. Look, the defensive metrics hate Jeter. They say he had no range, just a poor defender by all the advanced analytics. He was the captain of the Yankees. They won a lot, and he made some jump throws from the outfield, flew in the stands, flipped the ball in the playoffs against the A's. I'll give him a gold glove. It's fine. I'm not too worried about it. It's just fine. University of Texas Athletic Director Chris Del Conte is urging the Longhorn fans not to pull apart from head coach Steve Sarkisian. Time to pull away from Steve Sarkisian. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it, actually.
I'm
going out there today, man. Yeah, Steve, you can't go to Texas and lose to Kansas, man. You got to put him on the hot seat and put him on the hot seat right
They're
now.
They're not putting him on the hot seat. It's his first year.
Why not? You're losing to Kansas.
I mean, you shouldn't lose to Kansas.
We could have kept, what's his name for that? Tom Herman. Hermy boy.
So you can kiss all the players before the game.
Yeah, but no, Texas, you got to pull that thing together. Y'all have too many resources, too much money pumping in. Like, we're losing to Kansas now. We got walk-on. Look, they had a walk-on get an NIL deal on them last week. They had a walk-on fullback from Kansas. Get an NIL deal.
Get Hester in here to talk about fullbacks from Kansas.
Come on.
It's so interesting. Like, you know, everybody's just toasting Jay Johnson around here, and guess what? They're probably not going to win every series next year, and somebody will get upset about it. It's the nature that you're so on top of the world until you lose a game. And he's in his first year. Herman didn't do a very good job. You shouldn't lose to Kansas. I'm with you on that. They ought to be beating Kansas at home. Kansas hadn't won a road game in the Big 12 since 2008. That is mind-bending. Like, absolutely ridiculous if they hadn't done that. But you can't bail on him 9 games into his tenure, I don't think.
All right. Lincoln Riley, he downplays any involvement with the LSU job, saying that the OU media knows where he stands and nothing has changed. Are you taking or leaving? Lincoln has no interest in the LSU job.
I will leave that. Even if he has no intent to come to Baton Rouge, he has interest in the job, so Oklahoma will pay him more. I had a couple people text me who were like, Lincoln is definitely coming because he didn't say that he had the opportunity to say he wasn't. And my response was, if you stand up there and say, I'm never leaving Oklahoma and I'm definitely not going to LSU, this is the greatest place in the world and I'm going to be here forever, then why is the administration going to give you a raise? Like, I mean, that you need to feel like somebody else is cracking in the door so you can knock on the door and say, hey, I need a raise. Or he may want to come. I had a thought yesterday, and I was thinking, this would be a horrible, because they always win the press conference. That's like the big deal when you're hired, you win the press conference. What if a coach took over at a place and said all this great stuff and all the things about how they're going to build a championship program, be aggressive and attacking on defense, going to be multiple on offense, spread the field, score points, we're going to be fun, we're going to put an emphasis on recruiting, all the cliche garbage that everyone says. And then as part of that, he went up there and he said, and by the way, I'm just putting this out there right now. I am never, under any circumstances, answering a question about getting fired or taking another job. I will answer, I have no comment on that every time. So when he loses 4 games in year 3 and they say, are you worried about your job status? He said, I don't have any comment on that. I told you about that 3 years ago. Or if he's somewhere and they're always going to come and ask if you're going to leave or what about this room, and he goes, I have no comment on that because I told you that 3 years ago. I mean, I guess it would be a really bad look to start talking about leaving, getting fired, or leaving the job the first day, so you can't really do it. But it's an interesting thing to think about.
No, I think it's a great idea, actually. I mean, I guess the assessment we could do is, has Mike Tomlin been asked another question about it?
No, that's the point.
Yeah, I think
I don't know this, but I bet Saban didn't get another question in Miami about the Alabama job until he took it, because you just say whatever you want.
You got to go full anarchy. I mean, the media, they're not going to take the soft pitch, underhand. You got to throw them a fastball. You got to throw one down the middle, and they'll leave you alone. So you got to go full out, just full denial, and then just keep it pushing. All right. U.S. Captain Davis Love III, he says he would be more than happy to have Tiger Woods serving as assistant for the President's Cup. Are you taking and leaving Tiger as an assistant for the President's Cup?
I'll take that. In the last President's Cup, he was a player and the captain. He was a player captain, so this would be the exact opposite of that. This would be not the captain or a player, but on the team. He's a huge part of those team rooms now. There was a time in Tiger's career where he was standoffish to everyone, besides maybe like Marco Mira, because he was an intimidating force and all he cared about was winning majors. And at a certain point towards the end of his career, when the injury started setting in, he opened his gates a little bit and allowed a lot of people in. Now a lot of the young guys, Ricky Fowler, Justin Thomas, all those guys are very good friends with him. And he's a huge part of Team USA now and will be for, I think, a long time to come. And I think he likes it. He would certainly rather be out there, playing and winning majors. But I do think he's going to be a part of it. I can't wait to hear your answer on this one, though. Staples Center. Your boys in the Staples Center becoming Crypto.com arena. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. Just throw the nostalgia out the window. Like, we couldn't.
Bill Plaschke's inconsolable with the LA Times. He's had like 8 tweets on it. He's just, all the Staples Center is gone. All the memories of the Kobe Bryant era and the great moments in LA sports, and it's all gone.
Look, you got Russell Westbrook throwing the ball into the third row of the stands every possession, turning the ball over.
In Crypto Arena?
Yeah, like, I mean, I guess it can be Crypto Arena now. It's not the Lakers. It's not Showtime out there on the court. We're tossing the ball to fans every possession. So I guess so, man. What's going wrong with the Lakers? It's not good right now. We're losing to teams with one win, and I guess now we just have no Staples Center, and we're Crypto.com Arena.
Crypto.com Arena. They're gonna call it. They're gonna call it the Crypt, right?
I guess
and do like some burial analogies there. I mean, that's got to be the play.
Man, this
Tales
is
from the Crypt.
Time, man. I'm wearing my Yankee hat today. I got Lakers. We got to fix this.
Yo, how the Yankees doing?
Oh man, no one's doing good for me right now. Look,
how the Tigers doing?
It's just everything is. Look, next year we're gonna be cooking with something. This year I just got to lay down and hide a little bit, and then next year we'll be back.
You got Willie Wade. We're taking down McNeese tomorrow.
Hey, yeah. Wait, you're giving me some hope here. Days, keep jacking those threes, baby. I love to see it.
We do like that. A lot of us to be taken in here. Hunt and Hill on a Tuesday had a great show. Thanks for everybody for being a part of it. If you missed any of it, on demand, 1045ESPN.com. We had Sharief Ishaq talking about the Saints, Cody Worsham on NIL, Mikey Romero, part of LSU's baseball signing class. We'll be back on the Tiger Zone tonight from 8 to 10, taking your calls, 499-98. And you want some hoops talk, Hoops with Hunt, available Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts. About 20 minutes of basketball talk every single morning, so check that out. You can check it on my Twitter account, @HuntPalmer88. Matt Moscona is going to drive you home from 3 to 6. Jimmy Ott from 6 to 8. It is game time. Next coming up, it's your early line with Mario and Musso. We are back with a Throwback Thursday.